Come on, let's. Live in Pittsburgh, PA, welcome in to a free agency frenzy edition of Kaboly+Mack. He's Mark Kaboly, I'm Chris Mack, and you, wonderful friends, Yinzer's countrymen, good morning to each of you are either watching on X or YouTube. We appreciate Yins joining us. Thank you so much. Maybe a little bit of a surprise giveaway here this morning, Kaboom. We'll get into that in a couple
it'd be a surprise to me since you didn't tell me about it.
I know, that's why I did that. I like catching you by surprise, like when I had Kuntz jump on out of nowhere the other day.
Yeah.
Did you pay up yet? Did you pay up?
I haven't got anything. I'm not going seeking to pay off my debt. He has to contact me.
Wow, they got to chase you down.
Like I know
dog
where he
in the
lives
street.
Am I going to Google his name on peoplesearch.com and just drop it off on his front porch?
You gotta text him. You gotta be like, Kuntz, when do you want this pizza that I owe you?
That's his gimmick, not mine.
Wow. Follow us on all the social media at Kaboly+Mack, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And of course, as I mentioned, you can watch on YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed at Kaboly+Mack there as well. The morning after free agency, Kaboom, because so much was going on yesterday. We weren't going to try and do a show and then have everything change 5 minutes later. So we are 24 hours into free agency, and I gotta be honest, I have zero complaints about what Omar Khan and the Steelers have done so far. I don't know if it's just like this is how we feel all the time around free agency, although I can't imagine they feel the same way in Baltimore this morning, or a couple other places, Dallas maybe, but like this feels like they addressed all the big stuff that needed to be addressed on day one of free agency.
Yeah, and I think day two here is going to fill out the rest of those needs. I think you need a guard. Then you start backfilling with some depth pieces after that, if it's wide receiver 3, kick returner, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I knew we all knew that, or at least I don't know who knew that they were going to acquire a wide receiver, right? Just didn't know who. And with Alec Pierce, putting out that thought that he was going to test free agency last week, really threw everybody off the scent. Michael Pittman and everybody except, I guess, Omar Khan, because that deal was likely in place before the legal tampering period, or at least 1201, right? So that's a good gig. Good. That's a good pick. And Dean, I mean, you can't complain there. These are positions you can't really find in the draft that can help you right away. And Rico, Dowdle, I mean, they're going to go heavy. They're going to go hard. They're going to power football again. So you can see which route they're going. They got 2 monster wide receivers, a monster tight end, and 2 bruising running backs. What do you think they're going to want to do?
Yeah, they're going to want to knock you around a little bit, it feels like. And before we go through player by player, whether it's the trade for Pittman, the signings of Dean and Dowdle, the re-signing of Samuel, all of that, and the losses of Sayamalu and Pierre and Gainwell, obviously, I think the biggest overarching point to take away from this is, and you wrote about it this morning, and I was thinking the same thing yesterday, once things had kind of calmed down in the evening, is they've taken away the need at, say, the first round position. This is what they used to do all the time with Kevin Colbert in charge, or at least the latter years of the Kevin Colbert era. They would go out of their way to try and address positions of need before the draft in free agency or via trade, so that they don't feel locked into having to draft a specific position in the early rounds. And yes, to your point, they still need to go out and get some more offensive line depth with Sayamalu leaving. Yes, they could still definitely use in their wide receiver. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't or don't need to draft those positions or go out and find more on the free agent market, but they don't feel like they are absolutely locked in now to having to do one thing absolutely early in the draft.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly what they were able to do years and years ago. But what makes that so significant is, I mean, just think of David DeCastro. My goodness, that's been what 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking about getting him, but all of a sudden he falls to 26 or whatever it is. And we're like, we can't pass up on this guy. And you look at the same position now. You're going into the draft. You probably still want a wide receiver, right? You
Yeah.
want a wide receiver one. But if somebody happens to fall there, it's like, man, we can't pass this guy up. You're not going to hesitate to take that guy right now because now you have Pittman, Metcalf, and whoever else you add right now. So it's smart. I mean, but last year we thought Slay, Metcalf, blah 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 was going to be great too, and things don't
Well,
turn.
I mean,
But they're in position. It looks like, right?
the only offseason acquisition that was a total bust, I think, was Slay, really. And when you add an aging corner, that's always a risk. Jamel Dean isn't as old as Slay was a year ago. So I don't think that's an immediate concern that he's going to come in and fall apart. You never know. But
Thornhill wasn't at the top of that list.
Good point.
He was a little bit later, right?
He was late, right? Like right before camp started, I think it was.
No, that was Chuck Clark, I believe. But I thought Thornhill was a little bit later. I'm not quite sure.
It's funny you bring them both up because safety is a position that I think they need to address. Obviously, Deshaun Elliott's going to be back and healthy. Obviously, you got Ramsey. But I thought Ramsey, and maybe we could save this discussion in more detail for when we get into the moves they made in the secondary. I thought Ramsey played much better when he was attacking up in the box, occasionally blitzing off the slot or playing against the run. Obviously, had a couple moments in particular in the Baltimore game where center field, whether it was a blown coverage by someone else or not, center field, he got beaten there. And I think it just makes him a little more vanilla than you want him to be. But let's go back to the beginning. Let's start with the anniversary date, a year to the day of acquiring DK Metcalf via trade. They get Michael Pittman via trade, and it's basically a salary dump by Indianapolis. That's what this is. They exchange late round picks. The Steelers give up a 6th, I believe it is, and get a 7th back. So not really much there going on at all. They still have their 12 picks overall.
They got 3 6-round picks. Now they got 2. So who cares, right?
Yeah. None of that matters. What matters is, like you said, you got another established veteran wide receiver to pair with DK Metcalf. And, it's popular to go, okay, you got your wide receiver 1 in Metcalf, you got your 2 in Pittman. I still think Pittman has a whole lot left in the tank and is more of a 1B to Metcalf's 1A. Like what was the one thing I harped on about the receiving core last year over and over? It was the fact that they didn't have somebody who could step up and fill DK's shoes if he went down with injury. And it was an injury late in the year. It ended up being suspension, but the point still remained. They didn't have anybody who could step up. Pittman can step up if DK misses time and be that dude. He's not DK Metcalf, but he is a close 1B to Metcalf's 1A.
Yeah, I loved him coming out of Cal. What, Cal? Cal? Yeah. Cal? Is that where he went? I don't know where he went now.
Is that right?
I totally forget where he went. Right. Where did Pittman come from? Oh, my goodness. I must not love him that much, or my brain.
USC, not Cal. USC.
Same difference. It was in that West Coast area, right?
Yeah.
USC. I loved him coming out of there. I thought they should have drafted him a couple years ago. I think in one of my earlier mock drafts in that season, I had him taking him, but that's beside the point. He, is lost in all this, and I know people don't really care, but they should care around here. Is very, very everybody I've talked to, high character guy, man. A legit pro, is not going to be a trouble anywhere. Like I said, high character, gets along with people, so that's a plus right off the bat. And that's been something they've been focused on for a couple of years now. But on the field, yeah, I think he can do everything. He can still. I mean, he's relatively been healthy all his career, other than when Deshaun Elliott. Oh, not Deshaun Elliott. Help me out here. DeMonte Casey knocked him out a couple years ago, and
yeah.
be hit or whatever it was. So he's been pretty healthy as well, and he's a talented player, and he hasn't really played with a good quarterback. Let's face it, man. Over his career, what has he really
Yeah.
had?
What last year was Daniel Jones, Phillip Rivers, Anthony Richardson,
Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard for a game. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Even the year before that, who was
Matt
Gardner
Ryan.
Minshew, and
Yeah.
I mean, so it's not like he's had top level talent throwing him the ball. And one thing, if when Aaron Rodgers comes back, at least we can't say anything about his arm talent. I mean, Rodgers has the arm talent, so that should help him out. But yeah, I mean, they weren't going to let another season go by without addressing that need of.
Well, they're in a good spot now because they've proven over the years that they're pretty good at finding receivers later in the draft. Maybe it's a first round pick, maybe it's a middle round pick. I don't know, but they can add someone to the mix. Rowan Wilson has some sort of final lease on life, I guess. So he'll be back. So now you've got Metcalf, Pittman, whoever you draft, whenever you draft them, Wilson. I think you feel pretty good about the receiving core, assuming they do go out and make that one more addition. Plus, here's the other part. Not only do they essentially give up nothing for Pittman, but they restructure an extension for him so that it brings his cap hit down from what was expected to be about $24 million.
Yeah, I mean, you can manipulate. That's one of the reasons why they do it. They can manipulate that money any way they want. And I'd like to see how Dean's money comes through too as well. So you don't know. I mean, you look at it. It's 20 million. It's 13. It's what did Dowdle get 6.5, something like that. That's not going to be what comes off the cap. That's definite there. So they still got a lot of money to play with, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do add another receiver here within the next day or two as well, to be honest with you, to pair with Roman Wilson, Skoranek, and even have a chance to draft a guy in a first round. So they identified the problem, and then finally, after 3 years of Robert Woods, Van Jefferson, Allen Robinson, it looks like they finally got that number 2, right? At least I hate to put number 2 on him, like you said, but well, it is what it is.
Well, yeah. When they print a depth chart, at the beginning of training camp, whenever they did that, or whenever they will do that, sorry, then he'll be listed as 2. But like I said, he's a 1B to the 1A. Listen, I'm not going to stand for this nonsense, Rick. I never said they should get rid of Highsmith.
You said they should trade him.
I might as well just let it go at this point.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on. Obviously, World Baseball Classic is going on. You got the Pens playing every couple of nights. You got March Madness on the way. Best place to watch anything that's going on. Maybe you're just looking for a place to snag something to eat on the way home and watch this free agency.
St. Patty's Day. He's open early on
St.
Saturday.
Patty's Day. Archie's on Carson, Pittsburgh's best place for food, drinks, and sports. Get on down there, get the wings, get the burgers, whatever you get on the menu. It's delicious. And of course, ice cold iron and icy light, always on draft. It's going to be 70 something today. I think that qualifies as mango season, Kaboom. If you want to snag a mango down at Archie's.
I just found one in my refrigerator behind me. I'm like, where was this one hiding?
Do you know how old it is?
Does it matter?
No, but beer sits a little bit. No, I guess it doesn't matter. Go have your mango. Go have your
and some Arches. Mango. I keep saying I got to go down there and get some Arch wings. Somebody just recently told me that I should get wings with no sauce on it. I don't know who's that maniac.
Who does that? I mean, look, I like a good dry rub.
Hey now,
hey, I like a good dry rub on a wing. But you got to have some kind of sauce to go with it too. So no, it's totally sauceless. I mean, you're just an animal.
Speaking of that, did you go down to old Duffy's yet to see if the icy light is there? I was going to go yesterday, and I didn't.
But you know what? I might stop by today on the way to work. That's actually a good call.
You got to grab yourself a 15-packer before they're gone.
Yeah, those you see him right over Kaboom's left shoulder there. The Iron City draft beer,
I
those
want to
limited
open it
edition
so
cases and
bad.
cans.
I want to open it so buy it and drink a couple, but
I think, if you're careful about how you open it, you could sneak a can out of the middle of the pack and try one,
loses its
and still
value.
have the case. And what are you going to do? Sell the thing on eBay?
I don't know what to do. I mean, I need some advice from the people in the chat. Should you crack open the 15 packer of special cans, or should you just keep one? Should you leave it all intact? Should you leave the box?
So
What do you do here?
I still have from 1995. You see this?
I dare you to drink it.
No, see, I haven't opened it at this point. The Iron City Blitzburgh AFC Championship can. See that? She's a beaut, ain't she?
I like that logo.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's the best. And that sits on my shelf and has, as you can see, never been opened.
What do you think? Like in 50 years, you can pop it open. It would still be good.
What do you think? What do you think it would be like if you popped it open right now? Look at that beaut. She's a beaut, Clark.
I know. I mean, sometimes it like evaporates and it's only like a half a can. Maybe not.
I mean, it still feels pretty full. Like it feels pretty pressurized.
Now you're feeling full. You're dry rubbing. What the hell's going on here?
Getting a little crazy because it's free agency time. All right, so Pittman is in the fold now. You reduce the necessity of having to draft a wide receiver in the first round, maybe. Obviously, you still have your eye on it, but if there's a run on the wide receivers and they're all gone, or all the ones that you like, maybe you wait for the second round. You got 3 third-round picks. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Jamel Dean's really good. 3 years, $12.25 million each year. Really affordable contract for a starting level corner, borderline Pro Bowl type guy. And I think another guy that fits the mold of what they like to do at corner on the outside anyway. Big, strong, can run with guys. He doesn't make the big splashy plays all the time, or at least he hasn't. I think he did have a pick 6 last year for what it's worth. But I think this is bringing back Samuel, signing Dean. You've got Porter, obviously, who they've got to work out an extension with. You've still got Eccles in the fold. That's a decent start. That's a really good start for a cornerback room.
Yeah. I mean, Dean's been good the last couple of years. I think he struggled early on in his career, at least in the middle portion of his career. But to be able to get a cornerback, what is he going to be, 30, or he is 30 for 13,
he'll be 30 in October, yeah.
13 mil. Just think that's only a couple mil more than they gave Darius Slay last year. I mean, average. And what's good for him is, like you said, a big physical guy, a guy that he's what was the completion percentage he's allowed last year? Like 40%, something like that.
I think gave up 1 touchdown pass in the last 2 years or something.
Yes, I mean that was last year, I believe, too. And Porter hasn't given up one since 2023. Seems like a no-brainer to me. Just wondering why Tampa wanted to get rid of him. I guess that was, who knows, but it's a good get for them, I think. I mean, let's see how it plays out, of course. But what I'm curious now is, what is the plan with Jalen Ramsey? Right now, it looks like safety, right? Because it has to be. But if you add the safety here, which who knows what they're thinking, then you can move Ramsey around. You need 3 corners, right? I don't know if I'm quite sold on Asante Samuel. You can't go in thinking he's going to be a starter. And Eccles is solid at the slot. So maybe safety is in the cards here a little bit coming up here. I don't know what they're thinking right now. But either way, if Ramsey, I think, is the key to all this. If he'll finally have a year under his belt at the safety, or at least a half a year in an offseason, because he didn't play at all there over his career until last year. I think that should benefit him. But I still like him, like you said. I like him being the rover all around, play the slot, play the outside, play some of that hybrid linebackers, whatever it is. I think that's where he's the best at. But it looks like he's really earmarked for safety right now.
Yeah, I said, his best work last year was At least the most impactful stuff. The stuff that I remember most was when he was lined up near the line of scrimmage or came crashing down into the box, helping to shut down the run, getting after the quarterback a few times. So, look, if he ends up being your free safety, that's okay. But like you said, I'd much rather see him sort of not freestyling, but moving him around because he showed that he can do that. I mean, he was really effective at doing that.
Freestyling, you're dry rubbing. What else were you doing? Jesus, Mac. The
Busy
hell's going
day.
on with you today?
It's a busy day. It's a busy
Yeah,
day. What do you want me to say?
yeah.
So Jamel,
It should be a good mentor too. I mean, not mentor, but help out a guy like Porter, like Ramsey did last year as well. So it seems, boy, it sure seems like they had a pretty precise plan of what they wanted to go after and hammered it really quickly here of where they, where they felt that they need to get better. It's not like breaking any news. Anybody can see where they need to get better at. The Gainwell
yeah,
is kind of interesting, but once again, I mean, if you want to talk about Gainwell or whatever, I guess that's where you're moving to now. So I should probably shut up.
no, I was gonna just put one final point on the Jamel Dean thing. In that, again, this is another position where you would have thought corner might have been a higher priority in the draft, like a day two. If you don't get out of that third round without another corner added to the mix, you'd be disappointed. Now, I don't think you have to race to find that corner. You let one come to you that you really like. Again, maybe it's a guy dropping down in the first round. But whatever it ends up being, you don't feel pressed to make that pick maybe earlier than you would have because you went out and got Dean, you kept Samuel, and like you said, you've still got Ramsey around. It's the secondary I feel good about right now, especially with Deshaun Elliott coming back healthy. That was a huge part. We lost track of it late in the year because he got hurt so early, but that was a huge part of what they did in the secondary when Elliott was healthy, was his ability to run around and make plays. And yeah, Ramsey stepped up and made his own, kind of stepping into that role to an extent. But if you could have Elliott and Ramsey on the field at the same time, that completely changes what teams are trying to do.
Yeah. By the way, Jamel Dean's salary cap breakdown is out. He's only on the books for 5.5 against the cap charge this year. That bumps up to like 16 or so next year.
Okay.
Only 12 million guaranteed. So once again, they're keeping that. They normally always keep that first year low. So they'll probably have to pay for it next year if they keep him around. They probably would keep him around. But once again,
Well, yeah,
5 million for him, 4 for Samuel, 2.5 for Holcomb. I mean, what do you,
your buddy
Dowdle? Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they brought him back.
Holcomb.
I see. You look at it as 2 for 5. That's really probably still just a 1-year deal. To be honest with you, if you look at the numbers, I would imagine.
Well, and he's a depth piece at this point. Like
Special teamer.
Yeah. Although, since we're on that position for just a second,
this is a dumb thing, but go ahead.
Patrick. Rumors that the Cowboys may be interested in Patrick Queen. I don't know what they would be giving up. Like, I mean, what does anybody give? This isn't a knock on Patrick Queen, but
probably a third-day pick.
Yeah. So right? Why even entertain the idea?
Unless you are feeling you can somebody else. I really haven't looked who's left in free agency inside linebacker, off-ball linebackers. But Devin Bush getting $10 million. Woo. I know he had a decent season last year, but depends on what they would do. You're not going to go into a draft and think you're going to draft a guy and just plug him in there, right? There has to be a plan B if Queen leaves. So if they're like, okay, we're trading Queen, I would wait for another shoe to drop, as in who they're going to acquire to put in that spot. Maybe he doesn't fit.
Yeah,
maybe they want to dump him. Maybe they want to recoup some of that salary, or maybe just total BS of, let's call and see if Queen's available. He's on the last year of his deal. Okay, no, not for a 5th rounder. Forget it. But I would like to see him back. I mean, what are you going to do? Who are you putting there?
Not Cole Holcomb. Sorry, not Malik Robinson. I I still have my doubts about Peyton Wilson. So, yeah, I mean, some of the guys that are still out, the Dre Greenlaw is still out there. Logan Wilson and Kenneth Murray, who are both free agents from the Cowboys, which is why the Cowboys are looking for inside linebackers. But none of those guys, Bobby Wagner is 72 years old now. Levante David is even older. There's not a lot out there. A lot of those off-ball linebackers were snatched up yesterday. So, Devin Lloyd, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Tremaine Edmonds all ended up somewhere.
Yeah, that's why I find it hard to believe that that's going to happen. It could. Of course, it could happen. I mean, last year Brazil, was he getting paid 14, 15? Maybe. The tough part about it is you don't know how they want to run their offense or their defense. So maybe he doesn't fit in. I still think they need to keep him, but that's just me. We'll see.
Yeah.
I wouldn't give him up for a 5th rounder. I know that.
No, absolutely not. And I don't think, look, there's a good point brought up by Rick in the chat. It's Jerry Jones, so you never know. He may give up 2 firsts and paid Patrick Queen $1 gajillion. If somebody was willing to give up like a 2nd-round pick for Patrick Queen, okay, let's go. Let's talk. But I don't see that happening. Again, in the world of the Dallas Cowboys, maybe that's something they're willing to do. And Torsha Jackson also made a great point. The Raiders went nuts yesterday. Well, before we get to the Rico Dowdle thing in the running back room.
They had so much money in cap space. Yeah. I mean, that's the problem there. When your team stinks as bad as the Raiders, you have to pay Tyler Lindenbaum like $20 million over the highest paid center that's ever been paid, or whatever that number was. You have to overpay people. And hey, they have the money. Go out and use it. It doesn't mean it's going to be they're not going to be instantly good, right?
No, but I like the moves they made. Like, to your point, yes, they had more cap space than anybody else, far and away. And they've got as much, if not more, high-end draft capital than anybody, too, right? Especially after the Crosby deal, they get another 1st-rounder. But Linderbaum, Kwity Paye, Quay Walker, Nakobe Dean, Jalen Naylor, Eric Stokes, they went out and signed a whole bunch of dudes yesterday. So
Ashton Genty's still on that team. Brock Bowers, right?
Brock Bowers, yep.
Looks like they still need a receiver, right?
Yeah, they could use that. Who do they still have? There's a younger. Why am I thinking Trey Tucker is still there? But that's not obviously a number one.
Well, once again, though, I mean, you're taking Mendoza in the 1st overall pick. How many times has they guy come in his rookie year and just ball out? So it's going to be a process there too, I think.
Yeah, I don't think if you're the Raiders, you're okay going 6-11 next year and getting another top 10 pick, having the Ravens pick as well, which, by the way, as an aside, again, before we get to the whole Rico Dowdle in, Kenneth Gainwell out, what's the backfield look like now conversation, I'm not feeling great if I'm a Ravens fan. And I don't just say this as a Steelers fan, somebody in Pittsburgh, but I said this before free agency opened yesterday. That's great. You got Max Crosby. You desperately needed a pass rusher. And so I don't have a problem getting Max Crosby. Giving up 2 1st-round picks is a little steep. And what else? So you've got Kyle Hamilton on the back end now, and you've got Max Crosby up front. What else do they have going for them on the defensive side of the ball? I mean, really? And so you combine that with the fact that they're also top heavy on offense. Who did I forget to mention? Roquan Smith. So you got Roquan Smith in the middle. So
Matabuke.
Okay. But you've got top end talent on both sides of the ball. The guys we just mentioned on defense. And then you've got Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, who isn't getting any younger, but is still a beast. And you've got Zay Flowers, and maybe Bateman's in the conversation. But you lose Isaiah Likely. You lose Linderbaum. Like, it feels like they've put all the eggs in the high-end elite player basket, and there's very little depth. Like, a couple key injuries, and the Ravens, especially with a rookie head coach, are this close to going 7-10 and missing the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has to do with how Lamar plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he can make all that go on offense if he returns to his MVP form here. But we can't deny how good Max Crosby is and what he's going to
No.
mean. I mean, that's huge, especially a team that struggles so much pressure on the quarterback. But at what cost? I mean, let's see how it all plays out here in free agency right now. But you lost a whole boatload of people yesterday, and the defense is better, but is it? I mean, Hamilton, Humphrey, like you said, Roquan. I guess Kyle Van Noy maybe comes back. I don't know, but it's just a lot to give up for one guy. And if you want to push it towards the Steelers, I mean, that's what basically would be if if another team would try to acquire T.J. Watt, right? Maybe I don't think you would give up 2 picks for him, right?
No, you wouldn't get 2 firsts for TJ at this
I
point.
wouldn't do it. I mean, I think it's ridiculous. I
No.
think you just let him play out what it is, and whatever.
I think from the Ravens' perspective, it feels very House of Cards-ish. Like I said, a couple key injuries and the whole thing's going to come tumbling down. I understand they're all in on now because they've committed to Lamar Jackson. They fired the coach. But Lamar Jackson is the most powerful dude in that building now, not named Eric DaCosta, their GM. And it's all about him. As well, it should be. When you have a franchise quarterback, you should do everything you can to try and win with that franchise quarterback. I just don't know if they've gone about it the right way. I would make a similar argument in Buffalo where it's all about Josh Allen, and that's great. You went out and got him a receiver, but it's DJ Moore. DJ Moore is good, very good at times, but not great. And you gave up a second-round pick for him. So these teams that are all in on now because of their franchise quarterbacks, I don't know if the moves they made didn't smell a little desperate.
Yeah. Here's another thing with the Ravens is, Lamar's contracts, he has what, 2027? So this might be the year they try to extend him and what he's going to get, right? He has a cap hit out of this world right now, so they're going to have to invest money into him as well. So it can go either way. I mean, you got to give him credit for going for it.
Sure.
But it can go south in a hurry here, too. I mean, it could go really bad. Then all of a sudden you have no draft picks and your team's no good and quarterback money and you're moving on from him. And so it's iffy with him. You don't know. I still can't get a good feel on where the Ravens are going to head right now. Got a 35-year-old running back. Pretty damn good.
Yeah, but when's he hit the cliff? I mean,
we've been saying that for 5 years, though.
I know, but that means it's always a possible. No, maybe not. Maybe Derrick Henry continues to run like a bulldozer for another 3 or 4 years and proves everybody wrong, and he's an ageless wonder. But at a certain point, the end will come, and once you get to 35 for a running back, it's not that far off. Thanks to our good friends at Impact HVAC for supporting the program. We appreciate them. It's cold in the mornings. It's warm in the afternoons. You got your furnace running overnight. Then you want to run the AC in the afternoon. What do? You got a lot going on. Is everything running right? Maybe it isn't. Get it checked out. Get a hold of Impact HVAC. You can shoot them a message on Facebook at Impact HVAC PGH, or just give them a call, 412-297-1852, Impact HVAC. We trust them in our homes where they've done work. We definitely think they'll do a great job for you if you need something done. Impact HVAC PGH on Facebook. Rico Dowdle.
Dowdle.
Perfect Pittsburgh name. Rico Dowdle.
No, Michael Pittman.
Yeah, that's a little too.
Oh, you watched The Pit or whatever the hell that's called.
It's actually, so
that rom-com.
It's not a rom-com at all. It's a medical drama. So I will give credit to that show for one thing. They do their damnedest to try and work into Pittsburgh references. Like, now are they off a little bit sometimes on some of them? Yeah, sure. Yeah, but they try. And they got that nurse character lady that's trying to do a Pittsburgh accent that's not quite there. Credit to her for trying. I told her we'll happily We'll be the dialect coach if she wants a dialect coach.
Hey, you know that SpongeBob meme that says nobody cares? I wish I could
Yeah.
put this up right now.
What do you enjoy watching, Mark?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Raw last night sucked.
Mm-hmm. I had a feeling it would be that way. I had a
Oh,
feeling because
it
there
was
wouldn't be
not
any
good at
Roman
all.
Reigns or Brock Lesnar or any of that it would be
Oh,
kind of a sleepy show.
it was not good. And when you have a 45-minute gauntlet women's match where Bailey wins, it's like, oh my goodness. Fast forward. It wasn't their best performance.
Wasn't their best effort. Yeah, but I suspected that. I thought it would be a little bit of a lull. You had a little CM Punk against the Usos action at the end. But anyway, Rico Dowdle, 2 years, a little over $6 million a year, less than Kenneth Gainwell got in Tampa.
Yep.
This is one of those names that we talked about when we said, okay, if Gainwell's not back, this is a good swap, essentially, on the free agent market. And like you said, Dowdle and Jalen Warren together, a couple of bowling balls covered in razor blades, have fun trying to tackle these dudes.
Yep. Yeah, that's what they're looking to do. And to be able to make that work, you better find yourself a left side of an offensive line too. So that's still an issue moving forward. But I don't know. What do you like better? Would you like the Gainwell or you like the Dowdle? This is the part where we're talking about different ways of going about their offensive scheme. Obviously, the Steelers wanted Gainwell and wanted him to perform. I mean, did what he did last year. Maybe he doesn't. Obviously, he doesn't fit into what the Steelers wanted. Because if the Steelers wanted to, they could have gave him $500,000 more. You don't think Gainwell would have came back? I would assume he would have come back for that price. Maybe, maybe not. So obviously they wanted to shift gears here and go somewhere else. But hey, who knows? Maybe Jalen Warren goes back into his third down role. I don't know if I'd like to see that, but he is a good blitz pickup guy. He's a good hands out of the backfield. I don't know. I'm curious to see how they divvy up the workload.
Yeah, well, that is the one thing they don't have in either Dowdle or Warren is a guy who can catch the ball the way Gainwell did. But like you said, I don't know if that's necessarily as big a part of this offense as it was.
Obviously, it's not going to be.
I would hope that they're going to look to push the ball downfield just a little bit more. And I don't mean just chucking it up deep for Metcalf and Pittman. I mean downfield in the middle of the field. I would think, Freiermuth in the middle, Washington in the middle. You've got the weapons there where if they give you that, you should be able to take it, which they did not do enough of this past year. I don't know if there's how many catches did Kenny G end up with this past year? Yeah. I don't think I'd be surprised if I shouldn't say I'd be surprised if Dowdle and Warren combined for 80 catches. They probably come close to that number. But nobody on this offense, at least out of the backfield, is having 80 catches again this year. That's not happening.
I mean, you look at their backfield now. You're looking at Warren, Dowdle, and Caleb Johnson, 215, 215, 225. What does that tell you, too?
Move. Get out the way. Get out the way.
They would add a third down caliber type of guy, One of those guys. If you got Warren. Obviously, Caleb Johnson cannot catch the ball in the backfield. That was his knock coming out of college last year.
Can't catch the ball, period, not even on kickoffs.
So he's not part of it. I don't know. Is Dowdle, how many catches does he have?
I don't know. Look it up. Punch it up on the old Google machine.
The Google machine.
Do it. How many catches did Rico Dowdle
I see a 17-yard catch and run.
Okay.
What's the stats at, for goddamn sakes?
Come on, man.
There we go. Catches, receiving. 17, 30, yeah, shoot.
39 catches last year for 297 yards. 39 catches the year before that in Dallas for 250.
That's not Kenny G-like, but it's not bad.
But again, I don't think that's the running backs in the Mike McCarthy offense are not there to run designed swing routes and running back screens all the time. They're there to be handed the football and run people over.
Yep. Well, another thing is you got two bruisers there. You got Frymouth, Washington, Big Pittman, Big Metcalf. That red zone offense, baby. Woohoo! It might be decent, especially
Yeah.
when Aaron's coming back, right?
So you keep saying this. When are we just going to get the word? When is the puff of white smoke going to come from 3400 South Water Street? What are we still waiting for?
I'm guessing maybe the end of the week. Total guess. I don't know. But I
Okay.
mean, you heard Garofalo saying, they're snooping around. Yeah, they're just snooping around. Hey, just in case, maybe. But I'm still under the impression that they 100%, 99% believe he's coming back. I don't know what he's waiting for. Maybe yesterday was the tipping point. Oh, we got Pittman, Metcalf, we got Dowdle. I like these people around me. This is the time. I don't know, but I would imagine that it's going to be sooner, within the next week.
All right. Would be nice. I mean, they went out and got Michael Pittman Jr. I would think Rodgers has to feel pretty. He's not going to wait until the draft to see who they draft. Like he's going to get all fired up if they draft Jordan Tyson. And he's like, okay, that's what did it. I mean, he's either coming back or he's not.
I've said this numerous times. They've been on the phone with him multiple times. I don't think they talked about his workout regimen, his wife's, what his wife thinks of his body, or how his dogs, what kind of dog food he feeds his dog. They're talking about, are you coming back or not, man? So they have pretty good inkling of what's going on.
All right. So offensive line, there's nothing really out there defensive line wise right now, is there? I mean, because that's the position I think is still an obvious need to keep adding with Hayward getting older, and you did draft Harmon last year, but most of those guys came off the board, or a lot of them came off the board yesterday. John Franklin Myers goes from Denver to Tennessee. Kansas City took the guy from New England. I guess there's who else is still out there? A couple guys like your older guys, like your DJ Readers of the world, but that's not going to break the bank. I mean, that's a depth move if you make one there.
Yeah, all the guys, honestly, are still free agents, are all in their 30s. I mean, there's you're not going to find that 26, 27-year-old unless, I guess, Hargrave. How old's Hargrave?
Hargrave.
Did they officially release him yet, or they wait until tomorrow?
That's a good question.
I don't think they officially released him yet. But everybody's in their 30s. I mean, from Reader to Tomlinson to whoever. Daquan Jones.
Oh, they brought back Zezi Atemwo. Did I say that right?
I have no idea
Why am I asking you if I said it right? You wouldn't have any idea.
Who, the Steelers just now?
No, yesterday, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm sleeping.
Depth move on the defensive line. But nothing to get all fired up about. So they still have moves that they need to make. Obviously, that would be a position where if first or second round and everybody keeps getting excited, oh, take a wide receiver, do this, do that, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised to see them if a quality interior defensive lineman falls to them at their spot in the first round or maybe in the second round, they jump on one.
Well, I don't even want to bring this up.
Oh, no.
Considering the source. Jason Le Canfora.
Okay.
If Aaron Rodgers decides to hang up the cleats, the Steelers' second option would be Kirk Cousins.
No.
That's why I said I only want to bring it. I thought yesterday it was Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
I mean, seriously, what are we talking about here? If say Aaron doesn't come back, just for whatever, he's not going to come back. Just go with Mason or Will. What? It's not that difficult. I mean, whoever looks better in training camp, go with them.
Yeah. I mean, I would still sniff around the idea of Kyler Murray on a bargain basement deal.
You don't think Kyler Murray's signed, sealed, and delivered already? It's just a matter of him getting delivered.
I'm saying if he were available, If Aaron Rodgers told you tomorrow that he is today or tomorrow, hey, listen, guys, I thought about it a lot, and man, that's great. You went out and got Pittman, and it looks like it's going to be fun this year, but I think I'm out. I would at least make the call and be like, listen, Kyler, is it locked up with Minnesota? I'm not saying Kyler Murray is the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers or any other NFL franchise for that matter, but I would take a swing on that before I would take a swing on Kirk Cousins or Joe Flacco or just be resigned to go into the season with Rudolph and Howard. I would.
I think I'd rather have Skylar Thompson than Kyler Murray.
Come on. Be serious for a second.
I am serious. I mean, Kyler Murray does nothing for me. Nothing. And I don't think he's I don't know.
You don't think
don't the
Kyler
Jets
Murray is any better than Skylar Thompson?
Well, depending if we're talking about preseason.
Right. I mean, come on.
Skylar Thompson's pretty good in the preseason.
It does.
Honestly, I don't want Kirk Cousins. If Aaron Rodgers is not coming back, I don't want Kirk Cousins. I don't want Tyrod Taylor. I don't want Jacoby Brissett. I don't want any of those guys. No. Pick Drew Aller, go with Will Howard and Mason Rudolph. Go with that. Something like that. I mean, at that point, forget it. I honestly believe, and people think I'm just full of bullshit. I think Mason Rudolph is just as good as anybody still left out there right now. You know, you don't think Mason Rudolph could start for the New York freaking Jets right now? I do.
I mean, you or I could start for the Jets right now.
You don't think? You think he's better than J.J. McCarthy? Yes. What the hell's happening in freaking Atlanta right now? So I'm not telling you. I'm not thinking he's a savior, next franchise quarterback. But you know, if I have a choice between Trey Lance and Mason Rudolph, I'm picking Mason Rudolph to be your quarterback next year, or Will Howard, depending who wins. I mean, whoever wins the battle, right? But it's going to be Aaron, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. We discussed the Patrick Queen rumors a little earlier, Greg. If you're just jumping into the show, we appreciate it.
Any relation to Chris Hoke?
Maybe a distant cousin. And we already said it. I'm not trading Patrick Queen for a third-day pick. We went over that a little bit earlier. No. Thanks to our good friends at Higgins Professional Painting for supporting the show. They have done a great job in Kaboom's Haas. They're going to be over our Haas here in the next week or so.
Hurry up, because I talked to him yesterday. They might be coming back here.
Oh, it's amazing they have time to get work done with Kaboly+Mack's Haas needing completely repainted, but they still get it done, and they do a fantastic job. 40 years, family-owned and run in the Pittsburgh area. Higgins Professional Painting. They'll do a color consultation like they did for Mark, where they sat down and explained the entire palette of the rainbow and told him what they could do. They'll do the drywall repairs, interior, exterior, commercial, industrial. They do it all. Higgins Professional Painting. Schedule your free estimate today at higginsprofessional.com or give them a call at 412-344-0480. We appreciate them supporting the program. Program. Did you see Paul Skenes last night? Looked pretty good, didn't he?
Yeah, you love that tweet by me, huh?
What did you tweet about?
It was the third inning, and I'm like, it looks like Paul Skenes picked up where he left off. No run support. Fifth inning, boom, 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 boom. Then I had to eat crow and say, well, stick to football.
Yep. It worked out. Got a little sketchy in the end there. Got a little uncomfortable.
Okay, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think I could beat Alejandro Kirk in a race?
No.
Dude, that was embarrassing.
Well, it was a hell of a play by Bobby Witt Jr. Let's give credit where it's due.
He was out by 30 feet. He should have at least been a little bit closer than that.
He wasn't out by 30 feet.
Wow, he's slow.
Both of those plays by Witt were ridiculous. Skenes, 4 innings, just 1 hit, just 1 walk, 7 strikeouts on just 60 pitches. He looks like he's in mid-season form already.
And he's not hurt, so that's a plus.
Yeah, so I would guess he will pitch again, assuming they get there, which I would expect they do, in the semifinals.
Who would that be, Japan or the Dominican?
Probably Dominican, I think, depending on how things fall. Which, by the way, can I just – watching the Dominican team celebrate after every home run. It's like watching a college team or a little league team celebrate, and I absolutely love it.
That's what I'm saying. Isn't that like that's how they do it? I mean, that's accepted in a lot of different baseball areas rather than the United States to be able to.
Yeah, absolutely. And it should be normalized. Like, dudes are like dancing on home plate after they hit a home run, and the whole team is out there around them. Like, absolutely. It's supposed to be fun.
But
It's in freaking golf. This isn't chess.
But don't tell me you didn't think it was pretty neato when, if that happened like 20 years ago, Pedro Martinez would stick one in your ear right after that.
No, that's entertaining too. That's part of the entertainment value. Go ahead, dance your ass off. I may throw behind your back or at your head next time. That's all part of it.
Did you watch a documentary on the Red Sox on Netflix?
No.
I forget. Somebody got hit. Who got hit for the Red Sox? Maybe it was Ortiz. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who do you want? You went right after like Jeter. Stick one in his ear.
No, that's great. That's part of letting the game police itself. It's the same thing in hockey. Like, somebody does something stupid and takes a run at somebody else comes after him. What was the game over the weekend? I forget who it was. Was it Tampa and somebody? Ended up having like 400 penalty minutes.
Wasn't that your guy from Buffalo, Gino's buddy again?
Maybe. But that's part of the game. Give it to me. That's part of the entertainment value. Anyway, Skenes looked really good. I think to celebrate, we have been given a gift by our friends at First and Goal, which, by the way, they have 2 signings coming up. Friday, March 20th, Igor Chinikov and Ilya Solovyov. I think I said those right. Solovyev.
You want me to spell for you?
Chinikov and Solovyev will be there on Friday, March 20th for a signing. Friday, April 3rd, recent overtime hero Tommy Novak. So a couple of signings at First and Goal with some current Penguins. You can go check out more on their Facebook page. Just search First and Goal Sports. But you know what they've given to us, Kaboom?
What's that, brother?
Gave away one of these last year. It was last fall, I believe it was. We got another Paul Skenes baseball, baby.
It's upside down.
No, it's not. Maybe double check. We got an autographed Paul Skenes baseball.
There's only one thing, though. Whoever wins it, me and Mac are not going to sign it too. Like that.
No, we would never do something like that. We will not deface anybody's property ever again. So I'm thinking, how do we give this away? How do we want to give it away?
I don't know. Do you want to do? I don't know.
We could just tell people to repost the show on Twitter. We could tell them to do it that way. Because lately, a lot of the giveaways we've done were for people who were live in the comments during the show. Yeah, and a lot of people watch the show after the fact. They can't watch it live.
All right. 412.
So I think what we do is we will put out a post on the old Kaboly+Mack Twitter account after the show, and it will have a link to today's show on YouTube. And all you got to do is retweet it, repost it, and you'll be entered to win. I put it back in the bag so as to keep it pristine. This autographed Paul Skenes baseball.
Is that like a 2-cent plastic bag you put that in?
No, it's the one it came in from Pristine Auctions.
I thought you pulled that from like Aldi or something.
No, it's not a sandwich baggie from up in the kitchen. Come on.
Well, look like from here.
So we will get that posted after the show. Somebody will win an autographed Paul Skenes baseball from our good friends at First and Goal Sports, because we'll mess around.
And if you're lucky, you could get the Jack Clark one.
Nobody wants your old, beat-up Jack Clark baseball. Nobody wants that. Keep it. Nobody has any interest in it.
It's an official ball of the National League. Do they still have that stuff?
Back when the National and American League each had their own umpires.
I used to have a hat. I don't know where it's at, somewhere. The umpire hat. This is NL.
NL? Was it the one that had the N and it was like the half of the N made the other half of the L? So it was like a big, yeah.
I think my head was too big or something. I can't.
What a surprise. What a shocker.
Like, look at you. Your freaking head. When are we going to do a live show?
Hopefully soon.
The first goal? We going down the arches?
Hopefully soon. We got to talk to our good friends, our supporters of the program. Obviously, we can't go do a show with Impact HVAC while they fix somebody's furnace. That would be weird. And sure we can't go do a show while Higgins is painting somebody's house. Sure but we could certainly do one at Archie's. We got to talk to Arch about that.
I'm telling you what the perfect day for that would be.
We know the perfect day. The perfect day would be maybe the first day of the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah.
It's at first and goal, too. But like I said, they've got a couple of signings coming up, so check them out on their Facebook page.
If anybody's out there watching and they want to put together some podcast merch, we should get that out and sell it or give it away. I'm just not very good at that. Wait.
What are you very good at?
Sleeping, naps.
Digging up stories. Creeping in the locker room.
Creeping. Yeah, you know what? I'm trying to think here. We get some cool merch.
What kind of merch? What are you thinking? Come on.
I don't know. You like to see somebody wear a hat or a freaking T-shirt? I don't know.
How about this? And thanks again to Bernard Dixon for dropping a 50 in the tip jar there.
Of course.
Florio and Sims said Cousins and Geno are better options than Rodgers.
Because they don't like Aaron. That's what it is. Nobody, not one person in their right mind would think that Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins are better. I don't.
I
think Kirk Cousins. I could see maybe Geno, but Geno sucked so bad last year. But you can say,
there was no offensive line and not really any weapons around.
You can maybe convince me of that, but Kirk Cousins? And you know one thing Kirk's not going to do? Take a team-friendly deal.
He's made enough money at this point.
Oh, and he probably wants more. What are we talking about? Kirk Cousins. You talk about it's just a worse version of Aaron Rodgers. Everything you don't like about Rodgers, you take Aaron Rodgers and you do the facsimile. You know, what was that be called with Adam Sandler when you took worse and worse and worse?
Yeah.
Ditto, not ditto. What am I talking about? Ditto
clone.
Machines again. Clone, whatever. Yes, that. It's just a worse version of him. He has a worse arm. He's more injured. He's less mobile. It's just
you're talking about multiplicity with Michael Keaton.
Yes. What did I say? Adam Sandler?
You said Adam Sandler, yeah. How are you going to confuse a Pittsburgh legend like Michael Keaton with Adam Sandler?
I was thinking Click.
Yeah, two completely different movies.
Yeah. So forget that. I mean, once again, you know where I'm at. On record, if it's not Aaron Rodgers, just go with Will Had or Mason.
In draft.
Wide open battle, training camp, best man wins. That's what I say.
Ooh. I think you just nothing against Mason because Mason's a friend of the program and I appreciate the job he's done over the years. But I would just throw Howard in there and see if he's ready for it. And if he's not, then you have a dependable backup.
Can't you make that decision during training camp in the offseason?
You could. Yeah, you could.
Then you're like, okay, he's close, so let's do it. Or I think it might hurt him if it go out there. Let's just wait. Maybe halfway through the season or something, if something happens. But we're ahead of ourselves here. But I would go that route before I go over any of these other guys, these other garbage people.
But I also think you delay finding out what you may have in Will Howard if you wait another year before giving him some significant experience. Again, we're talking about a world where Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, and that's highly likely going to be the scenario. But in a world where Rodgers doesn't come back, I have no problem letting Howard show you what he may or may not be able to do. As our buddy Trey Essex, another friend of the program, said this morning, it looks like they're building this offense to be ready to compete with a 6'4", 240 quarterback, which happened to be Will Howard's measurement.
There ain't no way Will Howard's 240.
I think the media guide had him 237 last year.
There's no way.
What do you think he is?
I think he's probably about 220.
Maybe he's putting on more muscle, bulking up.
Mason Rudolph's about that size. He's 6'5".
Yeah, he's a big dude too. But just go with Howard. Find out what you have him.
I just think that you'll be able to determine that during April,
Maybe.
May, June, and July, or June and August.
There's no way, Rick, that Vince Wilfork was 360. I think wasn't 260.
I think he's making a point that the media guides suck.
What did they have Darnell Washington listed as last year?
Something.
Yeah.
60 maybe. Casey Hampton goes, shit, I haven't been 325 since high school.
He called a show I was doing once. Back in the day, I did a show for a little while with Scott Paulson and Mike Logan. And he called in once while he was driving through, it was either Wendy's or Burger King, but he was going through the drive-through.
Hope it's not the fake Burger King on the south side where Tomlin every single day. Every single day Tomlin would leave around noon to go to the fake Burger King.
No.
Yes, he would. I wouldn't say every single day, but a lot of times.
That's amazing. All right. Keep an eye out for the post on X with the link to today's episode on YouTube. Make sure you repost it. If you do, it'll put you in the running for a chance to win the Paul Skenes baseball. Keeping it in the bag to keep it pristine. We'll give that away. Next time we do a show, which will be later in the week when free agency may be starting to, peter out just a little bit.
Free agency is over on Wednesday. It turns from advantage players day one in the day 1.5 to huge advantage team after that.
Yeah. So we'll keep an eye out to see what else Omar Khan may do. And we'll keep you up to date on where and when we'll be at and about because we're working on a few things. And I saw somebody ask in the chat if there would be a live draft show. Hold on. I want to give them credit.
That was old fake Troy. Oh,
fake,
draft Troy.
Fake Troy.
Fake Troy said it would be at Arches. Got to get Big Mac down there.
You think he'd show up?
He said he hasn't been. I asked him about Arch, and he said he hasn't been able to get down there. But I did see a picture with Big Mac with old Richie Chupka.
Oh, yeah?
So he was in the area at some point or somewhere. I just saw that the other day.
Oh, it was Drizzy 1974 on YouTube. Are you doing a draft show live?
Drizzy 74. You're old as dirt.
How do you know that's his birth year?
Why would you put 1974? I
don't know. Maybe he just likes.
Well, maybe it was a good year.
That was the year the Pittsburgh Steelers' first Super Bowl victory. Maybe, huh?
Maybe that was the year that maybe I was born.
Maybe. But yeah, we will be doing things the weekend of the draft. We just got to figure out what Kaboom's commitments are, because obviously his first job is still to report on the Steelers.
I commit not to go to the actual draft location.
So maybe just to stay out of the mess down there, it is safest to just. We can't do a full 4-hour, 5-hour first round show live. We'll lose our minds. But I could definitely see us going live the night of the first round, maybe right after the Steelers make their pick.
We do that last year?
I think we did. If we didn't do it the night of, we definitely did it the morning after. But one of the two. Thank you very much. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. We appreciate each and every single one of yous. Appreciate everybody supporting the show. Make sure you're following on social media. Keep an eye out for the post on X to repost that and maybe win a Paul Skenes autographed baseball. We'll talk to you again later in the week here on Kaboly+Mack.